Hi, how's it going? This is resident of college for YouTube, resident _of college for Fit Shoot. My name is Joel Sains, and I'm the writer of Ghost of Haddonfield. And I wanted to come on my channel today and talk about my story, my 31 day Halloween blog with you guys, and just thank, first of all, thank everybody who read it and checked it out. I want to thank you guys so much. It means a lot for you guys to check out my stories, and especially this one. What a process. I started writing this in mid February, and I started releasing this in late February, and obviously you guys have been checking it out ever since then. And this concluded. This was originally supposed to conclude August 10th, and the reason I didn't drop it on that exact date is because my Microsoft Words was running out, and I wasn't sure if I was going to renew it in time. So I released the final date, obviously, way early. So my apologies are for that. I do apologize for that. But I'm glad I did, and you guys got to read it a little sooner. Meant I worked on it a little sooner than what I wanted to. So that was the only thing that was sort of off course there. What was the behind this? What life and death really was the emphasis behind the story. I wanted to tell a story about the living and really about the dead, about ghosts and how the ghost could interact with the living or a member of the living, really. And that's really a story I wanted to tell around Halloween. Why did I do a 31-day story? Because it's something no one else has really done, and it's something that I felt could be done. And the one thing I love doing, really, is proving something can be done with Halloween, especially the Halloween franchise, because it feels like just people don't take enough risk with it. People don't take enough of a risk with this franchise and try to tell that story. So that's where I'm different with other writers, maybe, is that I want to do something different. I want to do something no one else has even attempted. So I want to do a 31-day story. So I wrote a 31-day blog. And when I was coming up with this, I wanted to center it around an 18-year-old kid. And his name ended up being Maxwell Dugan, was the character I came up with. And Maxwell Dugan is this 18-year-old who is very reluctant in wanting to talk to ghosts. And that's something Max, to me, had to be. Max could not be a willing participant. And for well over half this story, he's not. He's not a willing participant. He's somebody who doesn't want to talk to ghosts. And you might say, and you might ask, for those who haven't read the story, some might ask, well, why is that? And the reason for that is very simple. Max's mother was the polar opposite. Max's mother could also talk to ghosts. That's sort of where he inherits this gift from, is his mother's side of the family. Patricia Betancourt Dugan, and Betancourt is Patricia's maiden name. It's not her middle name. I want to stress that. When I wrote that in there, her Betancourt was her maiden name. Because most married women will attach their maiden name with their married name so people know, who they once were. It's sort of, and So Patricia was somebody who loved talking to ghosts. And in the course of talking to ghosts, talking to the dead, so to speak, is she was able to communicate with them to the point of they told her what happened to them. They told her who did what to them, who maybe murdered them, was their death an accident, etc., etc., etc. And so she worked hand in hand with the Chicago Police Department from a fictional sense. And Max did love his mom, but he did not want to be her. He saw the darkness of it, really, when he was growing up, and he really did not love that feeling of it. So he wanted to get away from that. But where do you go to get away from ghosts? Chicago's a big city. Chicago does have crime. And he figured, well, if I can just not be around crime and not be around ghosts, maybe that'll help. And as he's leaving, his father, William Dugan, tells him every town has its ghost. And guess what? His dad is right. The one thing I wanted to do to emphasize was William Dugan is absolutely 1000% correct. Every town does have its ghost. And that's the one fun thing I had with Max, that no matter where he was going to go, he was going to run into this problem. And what better place to run into that problem than Haddonfield, Illinois? What town is more full of ghosts than Haddonfield? And who else is the cause of those ghosts? None other than Michael Audrey Myers. This was a lot of fun for me, and that's the one thing I want to have with a story is fun. If I'm not having fun writing something, I'm not going to write it. Um, and this was just one hell of an adventure. And along the way, Max doesn't just meet ghosts. He obviously meets living people. He meets the lovely Rebecca Towers, who's this farm girl who is a bit sassy and very independent. Yes, her brothers do help her with the farm, but she knows how to run it herself as well. But Rebecca had something happen to her when she was a little girl that she doesn't really talk too much about. She's very, though she's very independent at times, she's very, bottled up to talk about this. And it's not so much she's afraid to, it hurts. It's a hurtful memory for her because this memory she has is about loss. It's about her mother and how Michael Myers took her mother away from her at a young age, and it hurt her very much. And the Sheriff Herschel Weathers, was once, when this happened, he was the deputy. And he's the one person who sort of comforted her throughout the years, sort of tried to talk to her about this throughout the years. And that's something I wanted to relay, that Sheriff Herschel Weathers and Rebecca Towers sort of had a history together. And they had this history of they had become friends, they had bonded a friendship. Here's this girl growing up, and here's this older man who is married and has kids of his own, and he tried to speak to her about this. He went out to the farm every so often and talked to her, and she would talk to him over the phone sometimes. He wouldn't always go out to the farm. And that's something I related in their relationship, that they had this sort of kinship of, when her mother was murdered, the sheriff wrapped his jacket around her and hugged her and told her it'll be okay, we'll get him. And that was sort of his promise to her. This will not go unavenged. This isn't just going to stand. We're going to get who did this. And Herschel really thought about that throughout the years, and he spent really his life tracking down Michael Myers, trying to find where he was. Herschel did not want to hear Michael Myers is dead from the FBI nor the State Department, and that's really what that meeting was about. Herschel is a very determined individual. Herschel is a very honest individual, and that's something he is. He's very direct, and that's something I loved about the character of Herschel Weathers, who, from an image standpoint, I used Darnell Weeks, the Myers Fan 25. Thank you to him, a huge, huge thank you to him for letting me use his image. Um, I just want to thank everybody who shared who retweeted my story. I want to thank Mark. I want to thank John, Daniel. Thank you guys so much. Just huge, huge thanks for retweeting the story. And again, this story, when I started dropping it, did I know it was gonna last? Did I know it was gonna make it? Of course, because again, you don't start a 31-day story and not know you're gonna finish it. You know you're gonna finish this. This was something I knew I was gonna finish. Was something I was really emotionally invested in. I loved every aspect of doing this and giving this to you guys to read. This was something different. It was it was this young kid who really did not want to embrace his fate. And really, again, I love proving people wrong. That's another thing I love doing. you know, I've heard so many Halloween fans say, well, you can't have fate and have the sister connection too, like they did in the original. And I thought, that's so bullshit. And that's what Ghost of Haddonfield sort of does. It takes the ideology of John Carpenter's original, Fate, and puts it with the sister connection. And that is in there for sure. Here's Maxwell Dugan. It was his fate to help these ghosts specifically. Annie Bob, Annie Brackett, Bob Sims, Linda Vanderklog, Tina Williams, Rachel Carruthers, Jamie Lloyd, Laurie Strode, and yes, Dr. Sam Loomis, the ghost of Dr. Sam Loomis. These ghosts are very antagonistic, except for Loomis. Loomis isn't so much antagonistic. He's just more, hey, he's evil. Loomis is still Loomis with this, even in his ghost form. Because how you die, it's often said how you lived your life is how you're sort of represented in the spirit world, right? So, and that's something I really wanted to take with these ghosts. And so Annie is very sassy, and Linda's very flirtatious, and Bob is very sort of a drunken direct ghost. There's just so many things with these ghosts, and they are very antagonistic towards Max because they want him to know. They want him to know what happened to them. They want him to know who did this. They want him to, relay to the living, hey, goddamn it, we're not going to go unheard any longer. So, and that was something too. And even Max has a conversation with Rebecca's mother, Victoria Towers. So there's that as well. So there's all these ghosts that Max talks to throughout the story. And once they relay they keep relaying their message to him, whether he wants to hear it or not. My favorite moment was the first time when Laurie Strode just went into Max's body and she started speaking through him. Her voice started coming out of his body, and there's a whole crowd of people around outside the Myers house because Laurie Strode's ashes got scattered on the Myers property. And that was one of my first real moments of, this is how special Max is. This is what he could do when he allows it. But he doesn't really want to allow it. He just did it, okay, maybe one time. And then one became, okay, nope, you need to help me more. No, I already helped you. No, I don't want to help you. So, and Max just kept getting picked and picked and picked by the ghost. And my favorite my favorite day to write was day 19, which is entitled Happy Birthday. And it's Michael Myers' birthday, October 19th, right? And Max is walking out of his house, and the ghost, well, when he wakes up, the ghost starts singing Happy Birthday. And he keeps telling him, it's not my birthday. And they just ignore him. And it's funny because he's been ignoring them, and throughout he walks out of his house, they keep singing, they keep getting louder and louder, because it starts off as one ghost, then it becomes two, then it becomes three, then it becomes four. They keep singing to him Happy Birthday, and he keeps getting so annoyed because he doesn't know why they're singing this. And they keep pushing him in a certain direction. They keep sort of pushing him towards the Myers house, unbeknownst to him. And then he finally realizes where he's going, and he just shakes his head like, "You got to be kidding me!" And when he gets to the Myers house, "Is this where you wanted me to go?" He's just like had enough of them, and he goes in. He gets to the door, and the door opens, and he walks in, and he turns, and they sing Happy Birthday one more time, and he's listening to them, and then they finally will go, "Happy Birthday, Michael." And he's thinking, "Wait a minute, are you singing Happy Birthday to your killer?" And then the door slams shut on Max, locking him inside the Myers house. And the house sort of is a ghost itself. It comes to life, showing him the past, showing him Judith and little Michael Myers. And you hear Michael Myers speak one time in this. And again, he sort of the house is sort of speaking to Max of, "You gotta see this." It's sort of telling him a story. And then he goes upstairs and he meets the ghost of Judith. And in the process, he meets the ghost of Sam Loomis. Now, Loomis didn't die in the Myers house, but Loomis's ghost haunts Haddonfield in many, many ways. And why wouldn't it? You know, I really, really enjoyed writing this, and I really enjoyed bringing this to you guys. And I just want to thank all of you for reading this, and thank everybody once again for just, not only sharing this, but obviously letting me use their image. Obviously, I'm going to John Philip Betancourt, Daniel Culver, Mark, and a special, special thank you again to Darnell Weeks. Thank you, all of you, very, very much. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And thank you to everybody who just read this and enjoyed the hell out of it. I enjoyed writing it and bringing it to you all 31 days. It was just a lot of fun to do. Thank you so much, and bye.